Hi, this is Maggie from Crafts the Charm. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm so glad you're here. I love the look of jeans for a coastal project. I've done a number of coastal crafts in the past using old jeans. So for this project, I am going to use some old jeans, and what I'm going to do is use complete legs of the jeans, or for adult jeans that are fairly large, one side, like either front or back of a complete leg. For child's jeans, which are tiny, I'm going to use one complete leg. And that way, you can take this project apart if you get tired of it or you're done with it, and you can reuse the jeans and you will still have quite a lot of the fabric. So to start, I'm taking one of the legs of the jeans and I'm measuring 9-inch lengths. Now, if the length of the piece you have doesn't divide nicely by 9, you could try something slightly smaller or slightly larger. I thought 9 inches was a good length for this. And what I have here is a 14-inch wreath form. So what I'm going to do is bunch up the jeans at the 9-inch intervals and push that bunched up part between the middle two metal pieces of the wreath. And then as a temporary measure, I'm clipping them on the wrong side of the wreath. So I can still slide them around with them clipped, but this is just to basically hold them in place so they don't pop out while I'm working. Now I have a lot more dark jeans than I have light jeans. Here you can see I've used a couple of pieces of dark jeans, and then I had a pair of jeans that were children's jeans that had lots of rips in them, and I used those. They are slightly different color but also dark. But what I'd like to do is mix a little bit of a light color in. So for the light jeans that I have, I am going to cut smaller pieces and insert them in between the larger pieces so I can have 1 or 2 ruffles of the lighter colored jeans between the darker colored jeans. Now once I have that all laid out the way I like, what I am going to do is stitch these pieces. So you've got some of the jeans that's been pushed through and is on the wrong side, and then you've got the sort of poof that's on the right side and it's got ends. So what I'm doing is sewing the ends of the right side to the ends of the piece on the bottom. And I'm just doing a few stitches through each of the pieces on each side, so on the inside and the outside of the wreath. Now, I wanted to do this. It is going to make it a little less fun to take this apart if I decide to take it apart, but I felt like it made the whole wreath a little bit more secure and you can't see the stitches. I'm using a blue thread. However, I think that you certainly could risk not clipping it or stitching it at all because it is pretty secure without the stitches. Or you could use safety pins, or you could leave the clips, depending on where you're going to put the wreath and whether the back side is visible. So I just went all the way around the wreath and stitched all of the pieces. It actually didn't take that long. Now, accessorizing. I have this floral garden mesh ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree, but if you can't find that at the Dollar Tree right here, I have one that I bought on Amazon. So I think this is a pretty common kind of ribbon. To me, it looks like seaweed. So I'm going to use this on the wreath. Now, the first thing that I've done here, I just sort of wrapped it all the way around the wreath. I ended up taking that off, so I didn't leave it like that, but depending on how else you embellish the wreath, that might be the look that you want for your wreath. And then I just wanted to share some other cool accessories that I thought could be possibilities for this. I found this metal fish at the Dollar Tree this year. I think that you could put it in the middle, or you could put maybe two on the sides of the wreath. I got them in blue and silver. They also came in a brass color. Or I've got these starfish and sand dollars. They still have those at the Dollar Tree. And I got these anchors at the Dollar Tree. There's so many options for what you could put on this wreath. Now, what I'm going to use are sand dollars, and then I have these blue starfish. And I got those at the Christmas tree shop before they went out of business years ago. You could certainly paint the Dollar Tree white starfish with blue if you like that blue color. I really love that blue color of the starfish. So I'm going to use 3 sand dollars and 3 starfish. And what I'm going to do is make my own little nautical looking net to hold the starfish and the sand dollar onto the wreath. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the best method would be. They don't work that well with hot glue. I did hot glue the starfish to the sand dollars, but one of them didn't stay stuck. And you could, I suppose, put some wire over the starfish and then through the sand dollar, but it would be visible. So before I make the little net, I just want to go over 2 knots with you. These are the only 2 knots that I'm going to be using. So I have a piece of jute twine here, and the first knot is a lark's head knot. And this is for attaching a piece of rope or twine or whatever to something else. So I'm taking this other piece of twine and folding it in half. And here I have the loop. I'm sliding that under the twine that I'm going to attach it to. So the loop is under the twine, and now I'm taking the ends over the twine and putting them through the loop and pulling. That's a lark's head knot. Now this other knot is a square knot, and I'm going to use 2 different colors, twine and some string, to illustrate the square knot. So with the square knot, you're just going to tie a knot, but with a square knot, you start with one side over the other, and then you take that same piece, but now it's on the other side, and you put that over the other. So I'm starting left over right and twisting it under, and then taking that piece, now it's in my right hand, and putting it over the left and twisting it under. And then when I pull, you can see it looks almost like 2 little loops that are intertwined. That's a square knot. So to make my little net that's going to go over the starfish and the sand dollar to hold them into place, I'm going to start with 1 piece of twine. This is going to be the edge of the net. And I'm just doing this over my wreath, sort of over the starfish and the sand dollar, just so that I can get it the right size. So I'm safety pinning that to my wreath. And then I'm going to cut 5 pieces of twine, 32 inches long each. Now, of course, if you want your net larger, make your pieces longer. And we're going to start with that lark's head knot, and I'm going to attach the 5 pieces of twine to my original piece with a lark's head knot. Now to make the net, let's say we're going to start on the left, and we take the right leg of the leftmost lark's head knot. So that's going to leave the left leg just hanging. And we take the left leg of the neighbor, its neighbor lark's head knot next to it, and we tie those together in a square knot, maybe about 1 inch down. And then we do the same thing with the next 2 knots. We take the left leg of the knot on the left and the right leg of the knot on the right and make another square knot about 1 inch down. So go all the way to the right. Now you're going to take the 2 legs of the new neighbors. So you're going to take your rightmost piece and the left leg of the knot you just tied and tie a knot and continue all the way across to the left. So just keep doing that all the way down until you have some tails at the end. I think I left my tails a little bit too short. And what I then did at the end is I took another piece of twine and I tied each of those tails to the piece of twine. So that gave me the other end of my net. Now, ultimately what I did is I wanted it to be fairly tight around my starfish and my sand dollar. So here you can see me just sort of attaching it in the back. I took the ends and I tied them around the back, the ends of the two pieces on either end of the rope, the starting piece and the finishing piece. And I tied them around the back. And that is ultimately what I did, but I sort of wrapped the net a little more tightly around the starfish and the sand dollar in my final piece. So you can see that here, that they're pretty tightly wrapped and they're between the pieces of jeans. And I didn't like, as I said, the way that ribbon looked, that I think looks like seaweed. So I cut, I think these are 14-inch pieces. I think that these could be shorter. And then I put them between pieces of the jeans and just tied them in a little knot and tucked them under a little bit. But before I did that, I decided to add the anchor to the piece. So I just took the white anchor and I used another little piece of jute twine to tie the ends of the anchor together. And here's the final wreath. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know if you would use different accessories on it or if you would accessorize in different ways. Please tell me in the comments. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this sort of content, please subscribe to Crafts the Charm. Thank you for spending time with me today. Take care.